Welcome back to Tidelogic Academy. In this series, I'm walking you through the app one piece at a time, so you spend less time guessing and more time catching. Today, we're diving into Solunar feeding windows and the science behind when fish feed. Solunar theory dates back to 1926, when an angler and writer named John Alden Knight set out to explain a pattern guides had observed for generations. Wildlife activity spikes at predictable times, and those times follow the moon. The reasoning is gravitational. The same lunar pull that moves entire oceans also acts on every living thing beneath them. When the moon passes directly overhead, or directly beneath your feet on the far side of the Earth, that pull peaks. Biologists have since documented measurable increases in feeding activity around these lunar transits, across species from bait fish to predators. In short, fish don't actively feed all day. They feed in windows, and those windows can be calculated in advance for any point on the planet. Those calculations produce two kinds of windows. Major solunar periods run roughly 2 hours, centered on the moon's overhead and underfoot transits. This is when feeding activity peaks. Minor solunar periods are shorter and centered on moonrise and moonset. Less intense, but still meaningful. Tidelogic computes both major and minor windows for your exact location every day and maps them on your home screen and in scouting reports. Scroll down the Solunar feeding section on the home screen to view, and tap to expand. Now, the practical part, stacking. Let's look at the flow timeline section of a scouting report to explain. A feeding window on dead slack water is a maybe, but when a major period lands on a moving tide, the two forces compound. Current delivers the bait, the moon triggers the feed, and you should be there when both line up. On the bottom of the flow timeline is a horizontal yellow line with green, amber, and red bars to highlight these active feeding windows. Minors and majors. In this example, the minor falls during a slack period, so the feeding arch is minimal as seen in the highlighted green, yellow, and red section. Now we look at the major for that day, and it correlates strongly with the early part of the outgoing tide and increase in current flow. That is directly reflected in duration and intensity in the feeding window, as seen in the much wider and taller arch for the major Solunar window here. And here's where theory becomes evidence. Every catch you log in Tidelogic is automatically tagged with whether or not it happened inside a Solunar window. Over time, your own history shows you exactly how much the moon matters on your water. No faith required. Just data. Fish the right feeding windows. Stack them with the tide. Let your results prove it. That's Solunar's explained. Fish smarter. Fish Tidelogic.